Welcome to the Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ 102.1, where we challenge the assumptions of our current society to resist oppression and investigate alternative ways of living, for a world based on justice, solidarity and sustainability. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ 102.1 FM, your local community radio station, not for profit, not for sale, and not for the boring mainstream consensus. My name is Andy, and I'll be with you for the next hour, broadcasting on Yagara and Turrbal country. And it is lovely to be back in this part of the world, though a bit humid, I must say. But sitting back here in the 4ZZZ studio, it feels great to be back after the last couple of months of broadcasting to you from the cold and wintry, but also nice environs of Iraqi Kurdistan. While I was there, I learned a lot about Kurdish politics and what's going on, what people are doing there to try to make that part of the world a better place. But I also learned quite a bit about Argentinian politics, because one of my teammates over there at the CPT, the organisation I was there with, was from Argentina, and Gabriela Barraza is part of a social movement called Nuestro America, which means Our America, and it's quite interesting what they do. Argentinian politics has made the news a little bit recently because of their current president, Javier Milei. He is sort of cast himself as the Donald Trump of Argentina or something like that. And he's had the same kind of sort of right-wing populist reactionary politics, and also the same weird obsession with hyper-capitalist things like cryptocurrency. And he did get in some trouble for promoting a crypto coin that turned out to rip off a lot of people. But that's capitalism, isn't it? That's how it works. But anyway, there has been mass protests against Javier Milei, which against both the austerity measures of cutting people's pensions and social security and things like that, but also against his anti-LGBT rhetoric. And so it's been amazing to see a big protest there. But more broadly than that, there's a lot of interesting things going on in Argentinian politics, and one of them is Nuestro America, which works with some of the most marginalized people in that country, like drug and alcohol addicts, the homeless, the peasant kind of agricultural laborers, and indigenous people, and tries to, I guess, provide some of the basic services for a good life for those people, but also to provide some political consciousness to see that it's not just about each individual trying to fix their own issues they come across, that actually they're systemic issues, and if you work together with a big group, you have a better chance of changing them for everyone. So it's quite interesting, everything that Nuestro America does. I won't get too much into detail because that's what's going to happen in the rest of the show. Gabriela is going to describe it much better than I could. And so let's get into it.
My name is Gabriela, I'm from Argentina, and I'm a popular militant or social militant there in Argentina.
And I'm interviewing you not in Argentina, but in Iraqi Kurdistan. So do you want to briefly, we'll just start with how you ended up here.
Well, I think it has to be like with my militant life that I have in Argentina. We always and try to be near the oppressed people of the world. And that's how I know the story about Kurdistan. But also for me, it's important to know the process and all the people living in the land, and they are fighting for liberation. So for me, it was important to know more about these people being here.
Well, let's talk about Argentina, where you have a bit more experience. First, I think we'll mention is that you are an indigenous person in Argentina. And I guess for people in Australia, we have a colonial country, a similar history. And so could you start by just telling us about what is the situation for indigenous people in Argentina?
Well, as you say, we are a colonized country, and the situation with the indigenous people was always trying to hide them and not giving us our rights. For some reason, unconsciousness, I'm saying them and not us and all these things, it's just because they erased a part of our history as indigenous people, and now we are trying to recover it. Nowadays, for us, the new generations that are trying to get our roots back, it's a process, but also it's how to recognize that we were there before and we are still there, and that we will remain. The problem with the indigenous people in Argentina is that it's very dispersed in all the country, but mostly they are facing this displacement because they live in territories where it's a lot of minerals, mostly in the north part related with lithium and all these things, and in the south part of Argentina it's related with the water and other resources that this land has. In the south part, the most indigenous people that is suffering this displacement and death from the police or other kind of forces that are helping some people with power and money that are there in these lands are the Mapuches, and they are being displaced from Chile, from Argentina, from every place, and they still remain in their lands. But now with this government, that is a fascist government that we have in Argentina nowadays, the problems are getting bigger because they closed many places that we win with the other governments that were before. And now you cannot go to any place to ask for your rights.
And so you just mentioned Argentina's current government. It has been in the news, the Milei government. Can you describe for people who haven't heard, what is the current political situation in Argentina?
Well, we say this government that started last year in Argentina is for the far right wing, and they are doing, like we say in Argentina, we are going back to the 90s where the other neoliberal government was there. So the money that they need to maintain the price of the dollar, to not go to a devaluation of our currency, it comes from the pensioners and the social help that they used to give to the people. So nowadays, the people is confronting these policies, going out to the streets when there's a session of the Congress, and the pensioners are going out all Wednesdays there. The last Wednesday, it was a chaos because a bullet of tear gas crashed on the head of one photojournalist, and now he's in coma. So nowadays, the people is asking they want that the person in charge of the security of Argentina and they want her to resign and that she has to go to prison, but it's not going to happen. So I think that nowadays the social situation is very bad and the social movements are going to start to go out. Today, the Central of Workers called for a total strike on 10th of April. We are going to see what happens.
A few years ago, there was a number of left-wing governments in South America. It seemed like there was a big progressive movement. A lot of that has changed, and now you have, as you say, like a very right-wing government there. I guess, can you tell us a bit about the way that the politics changes there?
I think in all the region, but also in all the world, we are seeing that when the capitalist system it's getting to an end of these policies, that they are not bringing any solution but more poverty to all the countries, then it starts to grow the repression and all these things in all the countries. But also the fascist system starts to grow. It doesn't only happen in Argentina, but happens in all the region. In Argentina, we call this a cycle when there's a poor class and there's a higher class with more money. There's an intermediate class that starts to grow with the progressive governments, and it happens during the 10 years of Kirchnerismo in Argentina. So it becomes to a middle class. And when they are good, they start to ask for more things. And when they see that the poor people is receiving social help and all these things, they start to vote for the other that don't want to do this. In this case, that happens with the Argentinians that vote for Milei. Once they thought that they have all the things covered, they started to ask for a president that was taking out the benefits that the lower class was receiving. So we say the cycle of the media class, because once they are there, they vote for the right wing, and after a period, they know that with this kind of government, all the benefits that they used to have are now gone. And once they feel that this government is touching their privileges and not only the poor benefits that we're having with the other government, they just start to vote for other, and then again it starts the cycle again.
Now, I'm interested in talking about the social movement that you are a part of, which is called Nuestro America. Can you first give us a bit of an introduction of what it is?
Well, in Argentina in the 90s and in the 2000s, it becomes very normal to form this kind of social movements that were mostly from people that was without any kind of work, or they invented the work to survive to these situations. So Nuestra America was before called Movement per Dignity, but mostly is conformed by people that is from the universities, people from the neighborhoods, teachers, and this kind of people. And we do many social works with people that is in very bad situation, but also with people that is has problematic consumptions, we said, and it's like the people that has alcoholism problems, drugs problems, and all these kind of things, or the people also that lives in the streets.
And Nuestro America, it means our America.
Yes, Nuestra America means our America. It's a concept of Jose Marti, and he says that our America, it's the one that we want to create from our people, like the ones it's in America, and it's like a dream of not only for the borders that conform Argentina, but it's with our brothers in Latin America, in all the places, to build our America for all of the American people.
So you mentioned before that a lot of the work you do is people with addictions or people living on the streets. Can you tell us about what that work looks like?
Yes, the first thing that we try to identify that is the addiction is the 10 problem of these people that is living there, because many people think that these people that is on the streets that have problems with addictions, any kind of problems, they think that they are people that don't deserve to have anything, or they choose that way of life. First, we don't think that it's like that, but we relate this with the consumption that the capitalist system is always bringing to our life. And for them that has no structure or family structure or many opportunities to live in other ways, the drugs or the addictions in general makes them feel part of something, but also a way to escape from this reality that obliges them to consume something that they cannot afford. So then we have houses that we call bridges between them and us. And in these houses, we start to work about how they get into the addictions world and to identify what are the problems that they are behind. We have psychologists there, we have doctors, we have many workshops that they do. So we create a routine with them and with us, and also a way to live together. Like there's the first time when they came inside the house, we treat them as a family, because also we think that they are so used to that the people just don't look at them, don't say that they can, don't say anything, even a hello that means a lot to them, that they think that they are the rubbish of the streets also. So when they come to our houses, we receive them and we start to create a relationship within us, and also we make agreements in how they can be part of the space, respect the space, and also this kind of limits that you have to have with these people and with us, because you need to help, but also you are not always sure that they are going to enter to a process that they are going to respect, and they are going to respect the space. So it's a hard work, but it's a good work for them and for us, because we all learn many things about how to build a new society, but also we learn how we behave in front of these different people that appears in our daily life, and we ignore sometimes, and we don't know how much damage we make to them, making us they don't exist even.
How do you fund the houses and how do you staff them?
We have many ways. Like we work sometimes with the recognized institutions for the government, and we have many agreements with them, because we all treat these addictions in different ways. So this is a way, but also we go out on the streets and find people and try to talk with them. We have many social help, like we have open kitchens for the people. So this is mostly the first time that we meet with them and we start to create a relationship. Mostly in the neighborhoods, like our first meeting is with the families that they come to us and say, well, I have my son, I have my daughter, I have my wife or my husband, that they have addiction problems, and we try to create many activities in which they can come, and then we get in touch with them and we try to find the opportunity to invite them to treat the addiction, because it's not common that the person that is addict is going to ask for help. So the first thing is the family most of the times. And then also about the recommendations that other people that started a process with us or go through a process or end a process with us, they can tell others how the houses work.
And people, once they've been through the program, once they're clean from addiction and things like that, they stay involved in the movement?
Yes, that's the main thing. We think that we don't know how it is to be an addict, and we encourage the people that go through the process to be in charge of the houses or have workshops with them, because they know many things and they know the behaviors and all these things because they went through this. So we value the knowledge about being an addict and how it can help, because there are many things that we don't understand only with the theory that an addict is going to behave like this. But when it's an addict that was recovered, treating with another one, the things become best, because they feel that you can understand what are you facing, what are the challenges that are you facing.
So the work that you've described, I guess it would often be considered social work, interpersonal things, which are kind of a political process. But how do you integrate this with the political struggle?
We relate these things with the capitalist system that needs people that is poor forever, needs people that is addict forever, needs people that is has problems with consumptions, any consumptions forever. Like the capitalist system, to survive, needs these things. So if we show them that there are another ways to live, that is not only individual, an individual thing, but also a collective thing. No one saves himself alone. You need someone, you need your family, you need your friends, you need a collective to save you from different things. But also to become over this system, you need another people. So we start to work about what is a consumption. Like, you consume drugs, but maybe other consume alcohol, or other consume shoppings and all these things. So we identify first what is a consumption, like what is the root of that, how you become a consumer of drugs and all these things. And we start to relate it with how this the system takes you out of the system. In a way, no? Because you become someone that no one's want, but you want what the others want.
That kind of consciousness raising and collectivizing the problems.
Yes. Mostly because they face a lot of things, like they could, and most of the people that comes with the problem of addictions, they couldn't went to the schools. Some of them, they don't know how to read, but they find that in the collective, most of them are similar, and they start to have projects between themselves, teaching themselves, knowing how is to have a net that sustain them without any interest behind, just the togetherness of being well in some way.
So another element that you do in the movement is popular education, which is a phrase that comes from the South American theorist Paulo Freire. Can you tell us about the popular education that you do?
Yes. In the neighborhoods that we work, most of the people don't know how to read or how to write, so we make these things to help them, because we say that knowledge, it's powerful and empowers any people. But also through this we mix like the political education, because we think that also know what you are going to choose, it's important. In this way, we don't say that the people that comes to our places to learn how to read or how to write don't know nothing. Like, everyone knows something, and so we say in this popular education way to understand how to create knowledge, but also like a way to learn together about different things. They learn how to write or how to read, and we try to learn what the things they have to teach to us. So we relate this learning of how to read and how to write, for example, with the people that do agricultural work. We relate most of the classes with, agroecological, how to plant things. So we put their knowledge in the center because they know how to do it, but they don't know how to write about that and how to make others learn about this. So we learn about the agroecological process in the process that they are learning to read and to write.
And is the popular education element separate from the houses for people with addictions, or do you see the two as integrated?
No, we try to integrate everything. Like we work with agricultural families, we work with the addictions, and we try to mix them. So they know them, they know another works, they know another ways of living, and we try to all the time make different groups of people so they can learn together. When we have houses with place, the peasants come and teach to the people that is in the houses with addictions how to plant seeds, how to recognize them, and they make exchanges between houses and all these things. So we work like all the projects together.
So I'm interested in how you measure success as a movement. Is it in the individual life changes of people that come into the movement, or is it in sort of political goals of social change?
It's very difficult. Of course, we celebrate when a comrade can be free. Like, that's the main thing, be free of the addiction, or has many resources to live their life as the way they want. But it's a roller coaster. I mean, for a long period of time, we were not participating in any party political thing. Nowadays, with the situation and all these things, you have to take a position. One goal is to defeat this government, and we measure this as a victory for the people, because we know that after this defeat, the people is going to be better. But our goal is to build the socialism in our country. It's like the utopia. You see it and you continue working, but you cannot get there yet. But our goal is that the people can live with social justice. And we build this together, and we build this on our daily basis all the days of all the years that we are working there.
So we did talk about the houses for people with addictions and the popular education schools. Is there other things that Nuestro America do?
Yes, there's the work that we do with children, because we think that this world is too much adult-centrist, and we want the children to decide, and we work with them. The work is different, but we work the same. Like, we work teaching them political situation, making analysis and all these things in the language of the children. And we work in many different neighborhoods in Argentina. And since the pandemic for Nuestra America was hard to not get noticed, that many provinces in Argentina, mostly the ones that has indigenous people, were not able to access to health resources. So we started a brigade that it's called Health Brigades, and they go through the provinces to take attention of many illness that the people have there, and they don't have any doctors and anyone who is going there. And so this year, nowadays, also we are going to Bahia Blanca, where the city is flooded. So they go with help and vaccines and all these things to help the people there. And then we are part of different projects, internationalism between the Latin American countries.
Nuestro America exists in Argentina, but we do hear occasionally about other social movements. Of course, in Brazil, the MST, the Landless People's Movement, was a famous one, and then there's indigenous movements in Chile and things like that. Do these movements connect across borders in South America?
Yes, we are connected because when Chavez was president of Venezuela, he started a movement between the governments of the region that it's called ALBA TCP. But one of the things, after a year he created these relations between governments, he says that there was a role that the social movements of all Latin America has in a way that they can ask for these governments to do. So they create ALBA movements, and they say the social movements of Latin America was bigger than the movements from the countries. So we are part of ALBA movimientos, with some movements of Chile, the Modatima, that they fight for water. The MST, as you say, their struggle is for land, but also for the right of the indigenous people and the peasants and all these things. MST is a big movement that sends help to any part of the world. And also we have connections in Venezuela, in Bolivia, in Peru, or many movements from Latin America that are together building this. For example, the health brigades, they are worked in some way with Venezuela and also Cuba, because these countries send doctors to other places, because that was something that Fidel Castro says, that we don't send bombs to the countries, we send doctors. And that's what the ELAM School of Cuba gives to the world.
Are there other social movements in Argentina that are similar to Nuestro America, play a similar role?
Yes, and there's another movement that is called Movement of Unemployed. They work in the same ways as us. They work with addicts, they work with peasants, they work with children also. And also there's Evita movement, Nuestra Patria, many social movements in Argentina.
It's something that in Australia, I think we don't have that infrastructure. I think the government provides very good services, and I don't know, maybe people are less committed to building those social movements, but it's quite a different context for these large social movements. It's not something we really have.
Yes, I think it's because the necessity of the people to organize in front of the injustice that others are suffering. We say we fight even though we lack nothing because others lack everything. No, so this is how I became to be a militant. I was in the university and I have the possibility to go there and study and all these things. But I saw my colleagues that they couldn't. Most of them maybe needed to say, okay, I cannot continue my studies because I have to eat. All these things we think that are social things that we cannot confront alone. But if we fight for everyone, then we get them, and then all the people get them. So it's not something for my colleague now, but it's for the future. So the others can access. And this happens in the neighborhoods. Maybe the people that is helping us in the kitchens and all these things that we do are people that don't need anything, that don't go through addiction, that don't need health assistance. But we do it because there's someone that needs it.
Okay, if people want to find out anything more about Nuestro America, how could they do that?
Well, they can look at on Instagram. We have a page that is nuestroamerica.federal.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Gabriela, for chatting with us today.
You're welcome.
We have just been speaking with Gabriela Barraza, talking in a lot of detail about Nuestro America, the social movement she is a part of. And just in that last part, you heard about across Latin America, these other social movements that are such a part of political culture there. And it's certainly inspiring hearing about things that are going on in other parts of the world. And yeah, informative as well. I guess when we do hear news about different parts of the world, so often it's just about world leaders, you know, some politicians doing this, or about the conflicts between nations is the only noteworthy thing, you know, that happens in the majority of the world for us in our Western media. And so it's so important to hear about what people are doing, ordinary people, and how their lives are and how they're working to make them better. And I think it is inspiring there to see that these political groups are so tied to day-to-day life, you know, and talking about the politics of how are we living together, are we getting enough to eat, are we do we have basic freedoms, how do we meet people's needs. I think that is really important as well. And there's just this tendency for politics, I guess, here where we do have so much of what we need, where generally to politics become quite theoretical, and radical politics especially, where it's about, you know, remote future possibilities, but they're connecting it to people's day-to-day needs and connecting the people, the poorest people with the most need, with the people who have enough but who want to work together. Well, that's really inspiring as well. And so I hope you did enjoy the show today, a little venture into Latin America. I do try to not talk too much, about big, important people, politics overseas and things like that. I think there's enough of that in the media. And I do generally on this show try to talk about what people are doing in our neighbourhood, or what the possibilities are for ordinary people. But I do think, it's really important to be internationalist in our outlook and find ways that we can connect our struggles with other people in other parts of the world. Because ultimately, if we're going to change things dramatically for a dramatically better way of life, it's going to need to be an internationalist change. That's to build that kind of collective power, to win over the power of entrenched money and political power. We're going to need a lot of people. We need to draw on everybody. And so it was great. I was very fortunate to spend some time with Gabriela, working alongside her with community peacemaker teams and hearing about what is going on in Argentina. I'll see you next week.